Are those the Crisis heirs dead on the floor? Is that a trailblazer using the power of remembrance to resurrect them? Interesting. So it does seem like there will be time rewinding shenanigans happening in Amphorius after all, but more importantly, I think it is pretty much obvious that the third path looming over Amphorius is in fact Enigmata. Where did I get that confirmation from? The dev during the live stream, as well as this HoYoLab article titled Amphorius and its Mysterious Titans. Enigmata being the third path looming over Amphorius alongside erudition and remembrance was something that I talk about at length in this other video, which I would link downstairs if you're interested. And if you come here from that video, then this is the follow-up video that I promised. Otherwise, consider this video a short analysis on the 3.0 special program and the trailer. Also, if you're new here, my name is Rain and I talk about the lore of Honkai Star Rail. There will be more Amphorius videos coming in the future, so be sure to subscribe to the channel. Now, with that out of the way, let's get started. I suppose if you don't follow Honkai Star Rail socials as much, you might have missed this one article talking about the 12 Titans of Amphorius that they released on HoYoLab a few days ago. The article is pretty straightforward actually. It briefly mentions the origin of the Titans, what their roles in Amphorius were, and then there's a list of all the Titans, their titles, their core flame symbols, and the domains they ruled over. Simple, nothing suspicious. Well, not yet, at least. Not until we compare the symbols of their core flames with the symbols shown in the Golden Epic trailer, especially the first 6. You see, according to the Golden Epic trailer, the first set of 3 symbols belongs to the 3 titans that carved the heavens and earth.
3 titans carved the heavens and earth.
However, in the article, these 3 symbols belong to the 3 titans who wove the threads of fate. And then it is the other way around for the next 3 symbols. The video says that these 3 symbols belong to those who wove the threads of fate.
3 wove the threads of fate.
However, in the article, it says that this belonged to the Titans of Foundation, the one who carved the heavens and earth. They're swapped, basically. Suspicious, isn't it? And I think it is pretty much intentional because the last 6 symbols do match both the narration in the video and the description in the article. See, if you've watched my previous Amphorius video, you would know how important this out-of-order narration is and how much I've emphasized on it. If you haven't, well, the key takeaway is that this video, this Golden Epic trailer video, has been altered by Mythos the Enigmata to obscure Amphorius' history. The order in which the 12 heroes are shown does not match the order in which their names are listed in the description. And now we know that even the symbols of the Titans do not match the actual Titans for those specific roles, at least half of them. Mythos really has been working really hard trying to mess with Amphorius' history, huh? And they have been successful thus far. The people of Amphorius are not familiar with the concept of eons, right? They don't know about the eons. They don't believe in eons. They worship the Titans, believing that these gods were the ones who created Amphorius. And speaking of the core flame symbols, now we know that the Titan who holds this shiny-looking globe on its shoulder is called Kephale, the world-bearing Titan. And that globe is Dawn. It's the sun, apparently, an artificial one, perhaps because the sun, as the people of Amphorius know it, has long closed its eye. You know, the eyeball/sun thing that some believe to be Enna, but is obviously not because the color scheme is different to begin with. In fact, this eyeball/eye thing is yet another Titan, the Sky Titan. And then the Titan that went mad is Nikador, the Strife Titan. And while we're on the topic of putting names to faces, I think now we have enough information to start matching the Crisis heirs with their respective core flames. Before I continue, however, I just want to mention that I will try my best to pronounce these characters' names, but if there are those I mispronounce, I apologize in advance. Now, Aglia is an easy one. Her symbol is in her drip marketing and its romance. The Titan who bears this core flame is Nestia, Chrysalis of Gold. While the Titan is said to pursue the beauty of the world, granting the people of Amphorius with the gift of love and affection, Aglia's responsibility seems heavier. She is to bring the heroes back together and lead them on the flame chase journey once again. Funny how they should mention it as once again, like they've done this before, but they need to do it again. Like they failed before or something, and they're on a loop, so they have to keep on doing it. Anyway, Tribis is also in her drip marketing and its passage. This little girl stole it, apparently. The Gate of Infinity governs not only the passage that people traverse, but also the journey that binds their fates. Next, Anaxas is reason, I think. Ceres, the titan bearing this core flame, is all about gaining knowledge, while Anaxa is said to have enough knowledge to refute faith. Also, Ceres manifested in the world as a giant tree, and we did see Anaxa sitting in front of a tree and surrounded by branches. Pink Barbara, Hyacinth, bears the core flame of sky. The sky will become the slumbering cot from which she wakes. And we know that Aquila, the sky titan, is currently in slumber, bringing darkness to almost all of Amphorius. This handsome man, Mydemos, is on his journey to find the core flame of strife, which I believe is what the 3.0 quest is gonna be about. We are traveling to the domain of Nikedor, the strife titan, and in the trailer we see the Crisis heirs, Dan Heng and Trailblazer fighting the titan. Cypherus is trickery because she has seen stealing coins from Tribi in the trailer, and the devs introduced this creature called Spirit Thief Bartholos, a follower of the trickery titan that would show up in the overworld, stealing Trailblazer's treasure chest. Castoris is definitely bearing the core flame of death. She is the daughter of River Styx, which in Greek mythology is the main river of the underworld that separates the dead from the living. Phaenons is world-bearing, I believe. We see him splashing the golden liquid onto his body, and it causes cracks forming on his skin, not unlike the cracks on Kephali's body. Because of that, I'm kinda scared for him, not gonna lie, because if they are to replace the slumbering titans, right? Does that mean Phaenon is fated to bear Amphorius in their stead, forever bearing the world on his shoulder? And then there's Hysilence, who bears the core flame of ocean. Blue color scheme, prophecy talking about ocean's abyss, the titan bearing the core flame set to appear in the ocean's waves. Enough said. For the remaining three, I will hold back from assigning anything to them because that is dancing way too close to the realm of speculation without proof. Too much what if, and that is not my style. We don't even know what they look like. We don't know their names. Save for Seridra, of course, whom I think is Low Titan. Brown silhouette is Earth and red silhouette is Time, but you didn't hear that from me. Okay, for real though, I do think that the red silhouette hero bears the core flame of Time. And I assign this by way of elimination, really. Some of them are a bit silly, so proceed with caution. See, the first to be eliminated is the brown silhouette. Brown, desert, sand, Earth Titan. And then there's Seridra, the short-haired lady in the light blue silhouette, who at first glance reminded me of Zilla, the Honkai Impact one. Before the release of Fontaine in Genshin Impact, she was said to be the inspiration for the Hydro Archon. And what domain did the Hydro Archon govern? Justice, Law Titan. I did warn you some of this were gonna be silly, right? And so that leaves us with the core flame of Time, which I assigned to the last remaining hero, the red silhouette lady. It's pretty interesting that this is what I arrived at because I think that the red silhouette lady is March 7th and that March is heavily connected to remembrance. I covered the entirety of this theory in my previous Amphorius video, so you know what to refer to in case you're curious. Anyhow, in the live stream, they introduced this mechanic called Oronix's Prayer, which comes from the blessing of Oronix, the Time Titan. They introduced this as an exploration mechanic with which Trailblazer can restore certain objects to their original state in the past. Trailblazer can do this because they will take on their first step on the path of remembrance, thus obtaining the ability to draw power from the past. Interestingly, this would happen after Trailblazer had an audience with Oronix itself, meaning the Time Titan is also heavily connected with remembrance, just as March is. The devs also showcased this mechanic during the livestream when they accidentally stepped on Dawei and killed him. They used Oronix's prayer to bring him back to life, unfortunately just long enough for him to announce some in-game rewards before he died again. And a similar thing does happen in the trailer too, right? We see Trailblazer standing alone in this destroyed room with the Crisis heirs dead all around them. Some of them were even impaled, presumably by Nikedor's spikes. And then Mem flies into the scene and Trailblazer summons their quill pen to write something in the air. And then we are shown the memory of the fight between the heroes and Nikedor. Perhaps if they manage to win the fight in the memory, it could somehow alter the outcome of it, thus resurrecting the dead heroes? Because it does seem like when Trailblazer is using the power of remembrance, the whole place is transported to a different dimension, similarly like when the Oronix's prayer is used during exploration, restoring it to a time in the past. Another interesting thing is, in the new Keeping Up with Star Rail video, it is revealed that Remembrance Trailblazer's technique allows time to stop. Just as how they stopped time in the trailer, suspending Nikedor's whole domain in time. But then in the trailer, even Trailblazer themselves is also frozen in time. The only one that is not frozen in time is the girl named Siren, who seems to appear from that different dimension. Question is, where's Mem? Mem was there just moments ago when Trailblazer summoned the quill pen, but now, where is it? It seems to disappear when Siren appears, which is interesting because people have pointed out that Mem must be connected to Siren somehow, and this is just another proof of that connection. Not to mention, there are runes appearing when Mem is summoned and Siren has those as well on her sleeves. Also, Trailblazer will be given a book called As I've Written, which will record their story in Amphorius the more they progress through the story. And then Siren said that this journey will be a romantic story like none that had come before. The list goes on. And this video could go on forever as well, with all the little hints sprinkled all over the livestream. So for now, I will stop here. I will have the entirety of version 3.x to talk about Amphorius anyway. And what did Dev said again on the livestream? The story would last until version 3.7? 3/7? March 7th? So yeah, I will see you in the next one.